Well, hello there, it's Marie from Hayden.com with another update on this wonderful oxalate dumping elimination protocol. So I think we're progressing in the right direction, although I woke up multiple times last night and woke to an absolute sweaty mess, hence the wet hair, because I'm just so hot. I'm now up to 10 drops of the 2% iodine. The cough has kind of moved up. I added in some essential oils. I had a little bit more of the osteo adjustments in my back last night before I went to sleep. So overall, it's coming along. But this is not for the faint of heart, I'm gonna say. But I have to remember too that I am somebody who, when I was younger, I was always getting colds and bronchial stuff and strep throat. So I definitely have an area in my body that, for whatever reason, is probably toxic. And whenever my immune system is down, then I'm going to be subject to getting stuff that just goes right to my chest. And what's really interesting about what I'm doing is I'm eating everything that I'm intolerant to, which is really bizarre, okay? And you're probably asking me, well, why would you do that? Well, there's a couple of different things at play here. One, I totally believe the body can heal. I believe that God gave us these animals that we've been eating for ever and ever and ever. And I think that the nutrients that come from meat is amazing, meat and fish. And so, yeah, I dove in to have meat and fish. So I was eating lamb for a number of years, but every now and then I'd get massive bloat, which I was trying to work through with apple cider vinegar protocol and digestive enzymes. And it wasn't until this past year that I tested and I had lamb come up on my list. So lamb, beef, and chicken, lamb, beef, and eggs have been on my intolerance list. And what am I eating right now? These things. So this is a test of my immune system, but it's also a test to try and see if I can flip the switch. There's been so many other amazing things, like watching my numbers over the last few years with all the intermittent fasting I've been doing and the protocols I've been doing to heal my gut. So I just want to test it. And the crazy thing is that I crave this stuff. And that was my trigger for when I was growing up too, because we found out at 17, if anybody knows my backstory, I was misdiagnosed my whole childhood with bronchial pneumonia, strep throat. And so by the time I was in my late teens, I sort of took things into my own hands because the doctors said there was nothing else they could do. There was no more antibiotics they could give me. You just weren't healing. So I went to my first naturopath and I found out I was allergic to dairy. So he took dairy out completely, although I became a binger. So what that meant is I had so many different people talking to me, oh, you can just take a lactate pill, you can still have dairy. Well, no, because I was actually allergic to dairy, so that wasn't gonna work. I was intolerant as well, because I had that test done later on. And so I had this it was almost like a bulimia thing where I would go like for weeks and weeks and weeks without having any dairy, and then all of a sudden I'd be like, go and get a half liter of ice cream, and I'd literally sit and eat the whole thing. And then within like 3 to 4 days, there came the bronchial pneumonia again. There came the, not even pneumonia, but bronchitis and strep throat. So it starts in the throat, goes in the chest, and then I'm down and out for weeks. So you'd think that the first knock on the head, you'd figure this out. But, you know, this has been a work in progress to kind of figure out the ailments and the crazy stuff that goes on in a person's body when they don't listen to it fully. And plus you have like the whole society thing, you know, like people like their cheese on their pasta, people like to eat ice cream. I mean, the mainstays of my diet were cottage cheese and yogurt and ice cream and, I mean, like jugs of milk, like glug, 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 glug. So anyhow, fast forward, and now I'm sitting in this crazy world of eating things that might not serve me. And that could be a connection as to why I went down, because I have not had any sickness other than what I went through in the beginning part of this detox protocol with the pain. I don't know, did I do a video on that one? I can't remember. So I had this weird pain that came from like my low back, and then it circled all the way up, and it was only on this side of my face, on the left side, which is crazy because it's always been the right side that's doing this whole weepy thing. And every time I would like go down to pick something up and come back up, it felt like I was going to be faint. So I like tested my blood pressure, I checked my heart rate, and like I was all good. So that was just, it was like a 24-hour virus, or it was detox, which I think I'm going to lean more towards oxalate, because that was right around the same time. I think that, now I'm just guessing here because I don't have my notes with me, because I can't always keep all this stuff in my head of what takes place in my body, but that was right around the same time that like my back pain then after that was like gone, which was crazy because I've had like chronic low back pain and crepitus for the last 4 years, and so that's been pretty cool. So other than that, I'm just saying that this cough is, believe it or not, getting better. I apologize for coughing on here, but I think it's important that I'm real. And I just keep bringing you up to date on what it's like to go through oxalate dumping, what it's like to start increasing dosages of iodine. And the iodine for me is to help my thyroid. I'm actually drinking salt water with my iodine so that I can then help that get stuck into the receptors. So you have these like halides, bromide, fluoride, oh my gosh, my brain. Fluoride, bromide, oh crumb, I've totally forgotten the other, oh chloride, yeah, I think it's chloride. Sorry, I'll have to get that more information dialed in and not do this when I'm detoxing and don't have a full brain. Anyways, these get stuck throughout your body. So when you go and take that iodine, it's going to go ahead and try and grab as much as possible and then purge it out. But the thing is that if your receptors are completely blocked with all these halides, then iodine's not going to get in. And that means the iodine is not going to actually effectively work. So it's like putting in the fuel. This is kind of funny. Like when I was younger, my first vehicle was a Honda Civic 4-door. Ugly brown and like velour seats. It was crazy, but I got it from these amazing people and I got it for next to nothing. So that was a huge blessing. Anyways, I'm digressing, but the reason why I'm sharing this story is because after I had it for a while, I ended up having a rusted out gas tank. So I'd literally put my nozzle in at the pumps, and as I was fueling it, some of it was going into the pump and some of it was actually like going out onto the ground, and I had no clue what to do. Like I'm like, what, 18 and have no clue if this is normal. So I did that for a while. Anyways, that kind of what reminds me of the iodine. Like you put it in, but if it's not binding and getting rid of these halides and doing its job there, then it's not going to rid those halides and then free up your receptors to be able to take the iodine in so that it can do what it needs to do going forward. And so all these halides are found in our environment. Fortunately for me, I've been spending the last few years mostly in Europe, although I do go back to like the Caribbean and Mexico and stuff like that for a few months at a time. But for the most part, we've got a lot less bromide over here, and they're a bit stricter in their laws. So, I mean, they're not perfect by any stretch, but they're less than, say, like United States for sure. So that being said, I just want to encourage you to do your research. There's some amazing people out there that I'm following. I'm doing a lot of things with Dr. Sarah out of, sorry, Dr. Sarah Myhill. She's from the UK. Dr. Elizabeth Bright is in Italy, but I believe she's originally American. And then there's a gentleman out of Michigan, Dr. Brownstein. They've got a lot of experience with iodine and how many people that they help with that. So definitely digging into that. I'm still doing my intermittent fasting coaching calls, but I'm personally only doing like either an 18-6 or 16-8. I'm not doing any prolonged fasting. That was in my last few years that's gotten me to where I am today with my thyroid numbers. And I feel like this last chunk here of the iodine and getting rid of any of the heavy metals that are still around and these halides might just be the next kicker. So whatever you choose to do for your health, I hope you do it with research, without judgment. I think that this whole process of healing ourselves is more than just a food journey. I think there's a whole spiritual component. I think there's a whole component of getting to know you, and just kind of shutting your ears and eyes to all the crazy that's out there, especially when it comes to big pharma. Definitely had my introduction to that at such a young age, with being misdiagnosed. And, you know, we can also get sucked into taking too many supplements as well. So we do have to be mindful that we have some great food out there. We just need to be able to source it properly. So thank you so much again for tuning in. And if you like hearing my journey on oxalates, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. This is really raw, what I gave you guys. I'm not one of these social media personalities where I have like graphics and things like that. I don't have a group of people that help me do what I do. I just bring you my information because I just want to help the world heal and be part of something where I've made a difference. So again, thank you so much, everyone, and I'll keep you updated every couple of days how I'm doing and how things are going. Thank you so much again, www.mariahayden.com, and you have an amazing, awesome, fabulous, outstanding, and grateful day. Ciao.